So there's been an interesting development with regard to what's going on in Minnesota. There was an expose of a signal chat group of people working within the state government, actual representatives of the state government of Minnesota. And it's rumored that Walz himself is involved in this group. And you have a lot of agitators on the ground in Minneapolis, like people that are associated with Antifa, for example, that are coordinating the effort to impede a federal law enforcement agency from doing their jobs, which is illegal. And for them to organize like this is considered racketeering. So you got all this fraud, which we got this fraud all over the country, but it's been really exposed in Minnesota. And so you have this kind of pressure by having the law enforcement there doing the investigations, by extracting the criminals out of Minneapolis, they are at a serious risk of getting completely exposed. And have already been beginning to be exposed as it is. But things are really not looking good for them, okay, for their political machine, their corrupt political machine. So they're trying to create as much chaos, and for two reasons. One is to slow down or to stop the lawful look into what they're doing, but also to implement in part the Podesta plan, which is to create as much chaos in these cities using the ICE, saying that they're illegitimate, trying to get the public to view it as Trump is a king and a dictator, with the purpose of turning public opinion against the Trump administration and against the deportations and against the nationalistic, patriotic, anti-globalist sentiment that you see on the grassroots. And that is now partly taken over the federal government. It's not going to work unless they can get public opinion on their side so much that they're able to enforce it. In other words, if they can get members of, say, the state National Guards to go along with this, which I don't think they're going to really be able to do. Most people day to day want to live their lives. Most people are not paying too much attention to this. And if they are, they might have a little opinion on it. There's a lot of people like myself in my audience that knows exactly what's happening. I saw an article, some articles, their headlines were saying that there's something happening. This is legacy media, this is your quote unquote mainstream news articles, but they were saying things that there's an organic movement building out of Minneapolis to make it sound like that the public is behind this, which is obviously, this is just propaganda. This is made to legitimize the riots, the impeding of law enforcement, and to turn people against the Trump administration. Without the ability to have an enforcement arm, there's no way that their plan to start a civil war or like a color revolution would actually even get off the ground. Trump has to be, though, careful. Perhaps he can do something where he talks to people and say, hey, this is what's going on. They're trying to hide their corruption, something like that. Or maybe he's just relying on people like myself to put that out there. And be very careful to be aware of the optics of all this at the same time, which I think they are already. I think ICE is actually quite restrained because they know that it's very politicized and they're trying to get a reaction that would turn the public against them. So it's kind of a careful walk here. But that is, in fact, what's going on. These are criminals. They are committing a crime, like I said, with the whole signal chat, what they're doing there, the racketeering that they're doing. And they're doing it for the purpose of entrenching their corrupt political system so that they don't get exposed, so they can continue with their agenda to create a neo-feudalistic society over the ashes of our great country. So that's what they're trying to do. I don't think it's going to work. There's people talking about civil war and all that. I really hope that does not happen. That would just be chaotic. But I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think they're going to have the ability to enforce it. Trump, this time around, has a little more sense in him and sees what's going on and is getting at the root of the problem by going after the corrupt political systems and their immigrants that they're using as fodder for their corruption. But anyway, so I'll post a link in the description below of the article that was written about that. But it's something to keep your eye on, and it's something that I think people need to be aware of, need to look at it strategically, look at it logically.